At my brother's wedding, I wasn't expecting royal treatment, but I wasn't expecting humiliation either. I arrived early, dressed neatly, carrying the quiet pride of being the one who helped fund half of the event. My company had provided catering, logistics, and decorations. I didn't want recognition, just a normal seat beside my family. But when I checked the seating chart, my name wasn't near the family table. I scanned twice, thinking it must be a mistake. Then I found it. David, table 14, kitchen. I thought it was a joke. Maybe a last-minute error. But when I asked the wedding planner, she hesitated, looked over at my mother, and said softly, "Your family asked us to seat you there. They said you're technically working today." That one sentence hit harder than anything else. I wasn't a guest. I wasn't a brother. I was the help. I walked into the kitchen where servers rushed around with trays of champagne and roast duck. There was one chair in the corner, my chair. I sat there quietly, listening to the laughter from the main hall, hearing my brother toast everyone who made this possible. He didn't mention me. Not once. My mother even looked away when our eyes met through the open door. I had provided the catering for free, as a wedding gift. And now they'd seated me behind the scenes like a stranger. My assistant, Julia, came over mid-reception and whispered, "You okay? We can pull the staff if you want." I nodded slowly. Then an idea came. My company's catering contract, worth nearly $40,000, was technically still pending signature. The final invoice hadn't been approved. And according to our written terms, any major disrespect or misuse of staff could nullify the courtesy discount we had given. So I stood up, took off my catering apron they'd handed me for convenience, and walked straight to the event coordinator's table. "You might want to pause the dinner service," I said quietly. "This event just lost its caterer." Her face froze. "What do you mean?" I said, holding up the unsigned contract. "I'm revoking my company's complimentary service. You can contact another vendor if you'd like to feed the guests, but my team is done." She looked panicked. My brother noticed the commotion and came over, annoyed. "What's your problem now, David?" he snapped, loud enough for a few guests to turn their heads. I held up the contract between two fingers. "My problem," I said evenly, "is that you treated me like a servant at an event I built for you. The least you could have done was give me a seat, not a corner in the kitchen. So now, I'm pulling the company's catering service. Effective immediately." He laughed nervously, thinking I was bluffing. "You wouldn't embarrass me like that, wouldn't I?" I nodded to Julia. Within minutes, she gave the signal. The kitchen went quiet. Trays were set down. The music kept playing, but the servers stopped moving. Guests began to murmur as the food line ended abruptly. My mother rushed over, whispering, "David, please, don't make a scene." I smiled faintly. "I didn't. You did." The tension lasted maybe 5 minutes before my brother's fiancée, now wife, came storming over, face pale. "We'll pay," she hissed. "Just get the food out. Please." I pulled out the contract, signed it myself as the company owner, and wrote beside it, "Full payment required, no discounts apply." She signed too, her hand trembling. When I returned to the kitchen, Julia grinned. "Guess we're back in business." "Yes," I said, "but this time on my terms." Dinner resumed 20 minutes later, awkwardly. The guests could feel the chill in the air. My family avoided eye contact, but I didn't need their apology. The message was clear enough. Later that night, as I left the venue, my brother caught me outside. "You made your point," he said quietly. I turned to him. "No, I didn't make a point. I just reminded you who you're dealing with. You don't get to eat from my table and then seat me in the kitchen." He had no reply. A week later, I received full payment, plus a public apology during a family dinner that my mother insisted on arranging. I didn't gloat. I didn't raise my voice. I simply said, "Next time, if you want family to show up, treat them like family." That was the last event my company ever did for free. Because respect, I realized, is worth more than any contract. ChatGPT-C